approximately 8:35. And I'd like us to stand for the pledge, and I'd like anyone that has served our country to lead us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We always, sometimes he hesitates, but I'm waiting for that voice. Okay. Also, I'd like to indicate the proper notice has been given as required under the Ohio Revised Code 121.22. So we're going to move through the agenda. And next on the agenda is the approval of our board meeting minutes from the meeting of November the 1st and November the 2nd. And we've all had an opportunity to review those minutes. Are there any changes or regarding those minutes that you received after you reviewed them? I have none.
I've got none. I'll make a motion that we approve the board meeting minutes. This is for the continuing board meeting that began on November 1st and ended at the close of the election on November 2nd.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstaining? That motion carries. Next, our approval of board remakes. Sherry, I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, we do have absentee ballots that needed to be remade. These are from ballots that were received at the board after Election Day, but by this past Friday, November 12th, and had a postmark on or before November 1st. And our Operations Administrator, Krista Criddle, will present those to the board.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you. So the first category that we have are UOCAVA ballots. Those are the Uniform Overseas ballots that are emailed to the citizens, and then they come back and we have to remake those on our ballot paper. Those are A239 through A243.
I'll move approval of the UOCAVA ballots as remade.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstaining? That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. The next category we have, there was a voter who was admitted to the hospital Election Day out of county, and so we had to email a ballot to that county board of elections so that they could take it to the hospital. That ballot had come back, and so we needed to remake that as well. That was ballot A244.
And that's consistent with our procedures here to do something like that.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll move approval of ballot A244 as remade.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries.
Thank you. Next category, we have our ballots that were damaged in some way, that they could not be scanned through our scanners. Those are A245 through A248.
These are damaged ballots remade by bipartisan teams. I'll move approval of ballots A245 through A248 as remade.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries.
Thank you. The next category are stray ballots that had stray marks on those. These were reviewed by both the director and deputy director and determined that they are indeed a stray mark on the ballot. And we remade those in bipartisan teams. Those were A249 through A264.
Again, we have a stray mark policy that's been in existence for as long as I can remember, and I'm sure that was followed by our director and deputy. I'll move approval of ballots A249 through A264 as remade.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries.
Thank you. Next category are those with voter intent. Those were reviewed by the director and deputy director. There's no question as the voter intent. They may have scratched something out, put their initials, wrote notes on the ballot to indicate what their correct choice would be. Those were also remade by a bipartisan team. Those are A265 and A266.
Two ballots then?
Two ballots, correct.
I'll move approval of those two ballots, A265 and A266 as remade.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries.
Thank you. The last ballot that we had to remake, this was, we had one precinct that was a two-sheet ballot, Cincinnati 14C. The individual mailed back just the second sheet of that ballot. In order for that to scan properly in our system, we had to remake the entire ballot, leaving the front page blank since they did not vote that, and then made the second sheet as according to what the voter had chosen. And that was done in a bipartisan team. That was ballot A267.
I'll move approval of ballot numbered A267 is remade.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries.
Thank you. That's all we have.
Thank you. Okay. Back to next, our provisional ballot report.
Yes. In your packet, you will find a report entitled Summary Staff Recommendation from the November 2021 general election. Bipartisan staff here at the Board of Elections reviewed the provisional envelopes of all of the ballots that were cast provisionally in this election. That was a total of 1,770. This was done in accordance with Secretary of State directive and board policy. Again, we have the summary report in your packet. I think it's been the board's practice in the past to take each category of those that the staff is recommending be rejected individually per category.
Madam Chair, would you like for me to begin there or with the accepted category? I always like, but
We usually do the ones not accepted.
no, that's fine. So we'll finish on a high note by accepting, right?
Okay.
Okay, so good enough. Then on the summary staff recommendation, there are 80 provisional ballots where the voter was not registered. I'll move that we reject those ballots.
Second.
All those in favor? Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries.
Next category is wrong precinct, wrong location. Only 16 of those. I'll move that we reject those 16 ballots.
Need a second?
Second.
Any more discussion?
I just want to ask, like, with these provisionals with the wrong precinct, wrong location, the bipartisan team searched really hard and made sure that the voter was at the wrong location, or the voter refused to go to the right location?
These were all provisionals that were cast in the wrong location, and these were double-checked. So the initial bipartisan team found that the voters went to the wrong location, and then we had a secondary team review all of those to confirm.
But we didn't have a situation where the voter refused to go to the right location if they were instructed to, right?
Not to our knowledge.
Okay.
Hard to know that, right, based on
Well, there's a form they fill
wrong
out.
location. Yep.
That the form is a Form 12D, and that form doesn't apply to ballots cast at the wrong location. That form applies to ballots that are cast at the correct location, but in the wrong precinct.
That's true.
True, but but we have an insistent voter, what do we do about that? And they continue to want to vote in the wrong location. We tell them they have to go to the right location.
That's correct. That's what we train the poll workers. I don't know how we would have any knowledge of a voter who refused to go to the right location.
They're permitted by law to cast a provisional ballot if they refuse to go. Poll workers are trained to direct them to the right location.
Okay.
So we have a motion. It's been, did you second that?
Yes.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries.
There's one ballot that lacked a signature, and that should cause us to reject it. So I'll make a motion that we reject the one provisional ballot where it lacked a signature.
Second.
Any more discussion?
I just want to take a look at the envelope
Which
on
envelope?
the one with no signature. I'll take a look at it.
It's pretty clear.
Okay.
No signature, did we? It was.
We haven't voted yet.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone abstaining or opposing? That motion carries.
Next category, Madam Chair, is 21 provisional ballots where no ID information appeared on the provisional ballot envelope. I'll move that we reject those 21 provisional ballot envelopes.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in
Got-
favor? Excuse me.
I have a question about this one. I'm just looking at the envelope.
This is, I'll identify it by the P number, I guess, P391. And the voter put something in the driver's license box, but it's not a driver's license number. It doesn't have the right combination of numericals and alphabet digits. So that's why we rejected it for no ID.
Okay.
The ID listed on the provisional envelope must match the ID that the board has on file.
Okay. All right. Any more discussion?
I'm just looking at,
Yes.
I'm just looking at some of these, you know, with the wrong, like numbers are kind of like transposed. And sometimes it's an error, a data entry error. I'm just making sure, like sometimes we have data entry errors, like this one right here, P number 1441 says 6843 is the last four, but they got 6323 was correct in our records.
Yes, these were double-checked. Actually, they were reviewed by both the deputy director and I. We search our records to make sure that it was not a data entry error on our end, and that was done with each one of these.
It's just like 1P 1424 5407 last four, and it's correct. It's supposed to be 5408. I'm just curious of how we identified that we actually input the right one. Do we reach out to the voter or?
No, we do not reach out to the voter. We look at the records that are maintained here at the board. So we actually look at the registration form that was submitted by the voter or other documentation submitted by the voter. Could be their registration form or, a confirmation notice, a provisional envelope where the voter has voted provisionally in the past. We reviewed all of the documents in which the voter indicated their ID.
This is the incorrect, no ID. I was just reviewing the ones that had like one number off, like P number 1041. It's got off by just one number. It's a driver's license number. The correct is RP 198264, and they put RP 198244, so they are off by one number. So do we check with the state DMV?
Yes, our voter registration database is cross-checked against the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. And we did, not only did the bipartisan teams that initially reviewed the envelopes look for that information, the deputy director and I reviewed each one of these individually and compared them against the records that we have. And the IDs did not match our records.
Okay, thank you.
We had a motion made. Did you second it?
Yes.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstaining? That motion carries.
The next category is, looks like there's a provisional envelope with no ballot in it, so I guess we're rejecting the empty provisional envelope. So I'll move that we reject that one provisional ballot envelope.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed, abstaining? That motion carries.
Next category, it looks like there are 3 provisional ballot envelopes where the individual had already voted early. Is that what that means?
That's correct.
Yeah. So with that, I'll move that we reject those 3 ballots as they would amount to a second ballot for 3 citizens.
Second.
Any more discussion?
Chair,
Yes.
Are we looking into the reason for those 3 provisional ballots being cast after a previous ballot had been cast.
Yes, staff will look into that and will report back to the board.
Thank you.
So that we can determine if it was purposely done or mistakenly done.
Yes, we will research that and report back to the board.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Have we voted yet on that one?
All those, motion, you made the motion?
I did.
You seconded?
Yes.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstaining? That motion carries.
Next category is the no printed name on the provisional ballot envelope. I will move that we reject the provisional ballot envelope because it lacks a printed name.
Which is the guidelines that were followed by the Secretary of State, and it's been also double-checked by staff and the Deputy Director and the Director.
I second it.
Any more discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm looking at this one that has no printed name, and she put her first name, her middle initial, her last name initial. She just short 2 letters. Her last name, well, is P number 708. So she's missing 2 letters in her last name, right here. I mean, it's not like it's nothing there, it's something there.
May I say it?
But sometimes, look at that, I thought, what did the guidelines state?
It's in your. I'm sorry, it's in your packet, actually, Chapter 6
Does it-
of the Election
for me,
Officials Manual.
Seems like it's incomplete.
It states the full printed name.
Yes.
That's tough.
If it states the full printed name, do we not have to follow that rule? That's what I would think.
Yeah, to Mr. Mallory's point, it certainly is one of the harsher applications of the rule, and I appreciate the point you're making, just so the record's clear about that. But I intend to follow the rule, but again, the point is well made. So with that, then I'll move, if I haven't already.
We did.
Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries.
Next category is those provisional envelopes with no address. I'll move that we reject those as well.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Abstaining? That motion carries.
Last category is those provisional envelopes with no date of birth. There are 15 of those. I'll move that we reject those 15.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone abstaining? That motion carries.
Looks like there's one more for further review.
Yes, there was one provisional cast P number 319. The voter did not list their date of birth. In the field for date of birth, they listed the election date. Per the Secretary of State's Election Officials Manual, if all other required information is contained on the envelope and it matches the board's record and the voter is in every other way eligible to vote in this election, the board can vote in public session to accept this ballot. The Deputy Director and I reviewed the information, and the voter would otherwise be eligible to have this ballot counted.
Yeah, we've encountered this situation before, and I'll certainly move that we accept that one ballot.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstaining? That motion carries. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have one additional final motion on this topic. There are 1,624 of 1,770 ballots that the bipartisan staff here is recommending that we accept, that the provisional envelopes be opened and counted. And I'll move that we accept those 1,624 ballots.
Second.
Any more discussion? That's the way to end on a good note.
Yeah.
Anyone opposed, abstaining? All of those in favor?
Aye.
That motion carries.
Acceptance rate is over 90.
Yes, our acceptance rate is 91%.
Great. Okay.
It's certainly up from where it used to be, and
Yes,
e-poll books have helped, and
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, the 80 that are not registered, that really puts a a dent in it, you know?
That's
If they
it.
would just, people would update their information and get registered prior to an election, that would really make a big difference.
Yeah, that would,
It
that would
does.
change that number dramatically. You're right. 80 of 145, so
Yeah.
that's a
Right.
lot.
And that's not unusual
More
since
than
I've been
half.
sitting here. You see, it's a shame, but you see a lot of folks who just don't think they're registered, but they're really not, for various reasons.
And we'll note that the provisional envelope serves as a registration form, so these 80 voters will now be registered for the next election.
It's a great
Yeah,
point.
always reminded of that. That's good to know.
Yeah. Any more discussion? I want to just thank again the staff and both the deputy director and the director for the tedious hours and the time that you put into making sure all of these ballots would be applicable to bring before us today. I know that you spent hours, weekends and et cetera, just going through and making sure everything was clear. And when I've reviewed some of those as well, it seems very obvious what the ballot information is that you all have reported to us. Does anyone have any more comments or discussion before we adjourn?
I only want to be sure that, a lot of emails have gone around about calendar scheduling. I just wonder if the director can clarify for all of us. Is it on here it is, November 16th. So the two dates listed on the agenda are the most up-to-date?
Correct. The board will be back tomorrow afternoon at 2 PM to certify the election results, and then to come back, we do anticipate recounts. So then the board would come back Thursday, November 18th at 8:30 a.m. to randomly draw the precincts to be hand counted in the recounts. And then I think what's not on your agenda is that we've tentatively set the date for those recounts for the November 23rd at 10:30, but you will schedule that tomorrow afternoon when you come back, and then once we know for sure that there will be recounts, but we are anticipating them.
So right now, it's pencil in 10:30 a.m. on the 23rd?
Correct.
Is that pencil or pen? Sorry. Did you say
Pencil till,
Got it.
yeah,
All right.
until tomorrow afternoon.
Right, then the decision will be made regarding that date. Okay, thank you. Any more discussion?
Make public.
Any comments from the public? Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I shall move that we adjourn. I will move now that we adjourn.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Or abstaining? That motion carries.